Hey guys, it is Rhetri from Game Pass Daily. I wanted to do a video, a reaction video basically of all the leaks that are happening that started to happen actually very late last night and into today when it comes to the FTC versus Microsoft and the ABK stuff that's going on. Just basically exploded with a lot of leaks. We don't know yet, or at least I don't know how this stuff got leaked, but let's talk about it. I want to go over stuff that I think is only relevant to my audience, and that is games and the hardware stuff. So let's start off from The Verge. This is from Jay Peters of The Verge. Microsoft documents leak new Bethesda games, including an Oblivion remaster. We already heard about the Oblivion remaster. We know that's a thing. Well, let's just talk about this stuff anyways, because it's fun. Before it was acquired by Microsoft, ZeniMax Media, the parent company of studios like Bethesda Game Studios and id Software, was working on remasters of the Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion, Fallout 3, and a new entry in the Doom franchise, according to new documents revealed as part of the FTC versus Microsoft. The games were included in a July 2020 Microsoft presentation about the then potential ZeniMax acquisition. Announced game in the presentation include the Oblivion remaster. Yes, very happy that's happening. Originally set for 2022. We clearly know these dates. Take them with the grain of salt. Obviously, every single one of these dates is pushed back. I don't think a single one of these dates is going to be correct. But I do personally think every single one of these things is actually happening. So you got the Oblivion remaster. We have Doom Year Zero in DLC. So a brand new Doom game coming out and a second set of DLC for Doom fiscal year 2024. The Fallout 3 remaster fiscal year 2024. Not happening, not in that time slot. A sequel to Ghostwire Tokyo, fiscal year 2024. No way is that coming out in 2024. And Dishonored 3, again, not coming out in 2024. Remember, this is documentation from a while back, so this is, I think these are all going to happen, but the dates are where I would say don't believe them. Some of these dates have already passed, so there you go. They also talk about, so this is looking at the roadmap for the future, which was, this is an old document. So they had the Indiana Jones games there. They had Project Kestrel. They had Project Platinum and a vaguely named licensed IP game, which could be who the heck knows what. But so those are the games that leaked during this FTC versus Microsoft thing. Let's move on to the next subject, and that is the future of Xbox hardware. I'm taking knees, guys, okay? Now, I'm taking sort of halfway knees. Now, I had a lot of guys arguing with me on some podcasts saying that Microsoft was not going to answer to the PlayStation Pro. And this is not really that necessarily. So that's why I'm saying I'm taking half knees. I knew Microsoft was going to respond in some way in hardware. I thought they might keep the "we are the most powerful console," PR campaign going on in 2024. They're not doing that. They are doing a mid-gen refresh. It's just not maybe what I thought, but it's happening, so I'm sort of taking your knees. This is Microsoft's new diskless Xbox Series X design with a new gyro controller. So this is also from The Verge. Thank you, Tom Warren, for doing what you do, man. I appreciate it. That's why I like to go to his articles, and I prefer, if you want unbiased stuff, you check out The Verge. They're my number one source of news. I like them. So we got a new design. I don't know if you guys are into this, if you like the fridge design, but we have a circular design. This is codenamed Brooklyn. It will deliver 4K Gen 9 console gaming with more internal storage. So that's the look of it. Let's just go down here and talk about what The Verge has to say on this. Microsoft is planning to refresh its Xbox Series X console in 2024 with an all-new design and features, codenamed Brooklyn. The unannounced console refresh has been accidentally revealed in the FTC versus Microsoft documents this week. The new Xbox Series X design looks a lot more cylindrical, yeah, I'd say so, the existing console, and will ship without a disk drive. This is getting controversy. It's getting a little heated on the internet about this, which I find ridiculous because the Series X isn't going away. You have your disc version, and you're going to have your discless, just like PlayStation did years ago. So like, what's the big deal? Anyways, internal confidential Microsoft documents reveal it has a 2 terabytes of storage, doubling it up from 1 terabyte, a USB-C front port, love USB-C, with power delivery coming from the USB-C, and an all-new, more immersive controller. So we also have this new controller, which they are saying is probably going to have a new Xbox Wireless 2 it's also going to be able to go direct to cloud and have Bluetooth 5.2. So upping the wireless technologies and Bluetooth as well. So we'll see how that pans out. The new controller, codename Sabile, is set to be announced later this year and will include an accelerometer for gyro support as a 2-tone color scheme and will support a direct connection to cloud, Bluetooth 5.2, and a presumably updated Xbox Wireless 2 connection. Microsoft also lists precision haptic feedback, so kind of like PlayStation, and VCA haptics, which double as speakers, as specs for the controller. It will also have quieter buttons and thumbsticks, a rechargeable and swappable battery, modular thumbsticks, nice, and you'll be able to lift it up to wake it. So kind of like iPhones and Androids and stuff like that. So this is the new design. If you like it, if you don't, sorry. This is probably happening. Inside the new Xbox Series X design, Microsoft is also adding Wi-Fi 6E. So it's getting very small hardware upgrades, right? So Microsoft, Wi-Fi 6E support, Bluetooth 5.2 radio. The company is shrinking the existing die to 6 nanometers to improve efficiency. So the PSU power will be reduced by 15%. So that will save you guys money on your electric bill. According to Microsoft's document, Microsoft is targeting the same $500 launch price of the Series X. So by the time this comes out, because it's got a little bit better specs on the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth, and the biggest thing to me is the storage, doubling up the storage. I imagine that the Series X will go down to 400 at better, because it would make literally no sense for those to be the same price. So we are looking at a launch window for the new, whatever the heck it's going to be called, the Brooklyn, in November, and the new Series S will be probably September, October timeframe. Take this all with a grain of salt, because it is what it is. Microsoft lists a roadmap for the new Series X console and controller alongside a refreshed Series S with 1 terabyte of storage. The Series S confuses me now that we have the black one that's 1 terabyte and it goes for $350, because they're saying the Series S that's coming out next year will be $300. So I'm a little confused on what's going to happen with the black Series S. Is it just going to go to 300 or less? Like, I just don't know. Microsoft just launched a refresh Xbox Series S in black, but there could be another refresh on the way in 2024 with Wi-Fi 6E support and Bluetooth 5.2, which will also include the new controller. So maybe this new controller is just a lot more money. I don't know. Who knows? Console customization. This is cool. Console customization via Microsoft's Xbox Design Lab program was also mentioned under a list of goals that the company wants to achieve by 2030. Although we should note that according to leaked documents, this isn't yet fully funded. A new Elite controller is discussed in the same section, which would presumably include the same updates as the main controller refresh. Now, I would love, so if you have this, cylinder design, it seems like an easy design to just be able to like unlatch the bottom of it and pop it out and have all kinds of different designs under Design Lab from Xbox. I think that would sell like hotcakes. PlayStation tries to do stuff like that. Third parties have tried to do stuff like that. And got almost sued for it as well. But still, I think being able to customize your hardware without getting wraps, because I'm not a fan of wraps. Wraps are kind of a pain in the butt. So this would be great. Just like we got we got the Starfield one. That's the Velcro one, which I think is genius. And everyone was complaining about it being $50. Well, have you used a wrap on your console? Because those things are a pain in the butt to not get wrinkled and to do properly. And those can go from like $20 to $30. But it is what it is. What it is. Let's move on to the next subject, and that is the future. The future of hardware outside of the refresh. I don't really consider saying it is the future. It's just a mid-gen refresh. Not a huge deal in my opinion. That's leaked Microsoft documents detail the cloud hybrid next-gen Xbox for 2028. This has got me excited, and we'll go into detail and talk about that. Why? It would marry physical hardware and cloud according to an internal presentation. The same document also revealed Microsoft's tentative plans for the next generation Xbox, what it calls a hybrid game platform. The system would combine local hardware and cloud computing to create an immersive game and app platform, arriving around 2028, according to a leaked May 2022 presentation hidden inside another PDF. Oops. Yeah, someone's getting fired here. Our vision: develop a next generation hybrid game platform capable of leveraging the combined power of the client and cloud to deliver deeper immersion and entirely new classes of game experiences. One of the slides reads, optimize for real-time gameplay and creators. We will enable new levels of performance beyond the capabilities of the client hardware alone. In a slide, Microsoft projects the next-gen console arriving in 2028 with cloud hybrid games and an immersive game and app platform. So there you have it. Apparently, they are planning the next gen in 2028. I think that's a good amount of time. I think that's just fine. I'm perfectly okay with that date. On the hardware side, Microsoft foresees things like next-gen DirectX ray tracing, dynamic global illumination. You guys know I'm a huge fan of the global illuminations and lighting techniques in games, just like Starfield. I love it. Machine learning based super resolution, micropolygon render optimization, and more. The system could allow for different types of devices, ranging from relatively powerful consoles to thin OS $99 consumer or handheld devices that rely on xCloud computing. So yeah, that's definitely pushing harder into the mobile space with xCloud. I'm not a fan of that space, but we all know that's where the money is. I'm a hardware guy. I like my console. I like my PC. It is what it is. Apologize if my camera is doing some wonky stuff. I don't know what's going on. Elgato. But it sucks a lot of power. So we calling this the hybrid compute, would presumably differ from regular cloud gaming by using hardware and cloud computing to display in-game elements simultaneously. So just very much like Microsoft Flight Sim does. This is one of those things where the hardware will get you to here, but then the cloud is going to get you to there. So we got cloud computing to display in-game elements simultaneously. For instance, primary characters would run on your local GPU, while NPCs, background elements, and more would be generated remotely on the cloud, right? So before we get too far into that, we'll see that the CPU could be an ARM-based 64 CPU. We don't know. We're still 5 years out, but when we say they are thinking about this stuff way ahead, we're not joking. We now have proof that Xbox, engineers and the hardware guys are already looking at this stuff 5 years out, guys. So more than that, because this is, who knows how long ago this really, when they started thinking about this stuff. So we got possible CPU being ARM-based. It says CPU is going to be a balance of big and little CPU cores. The GPU, they will co-design with AMD or license AMD IP Navi 5. So they're looking at the graphics innovation as next-gen DirectX ray tracing. We'll see dynamic global illumination, micropolygon rendering optimizations, and machine learning based super resolution. And we'll see if that comes to fruition. Microsoft also sees heavy use of AI and machine learning in next-gen gaming. From a performance vantage, neural networks would prefer neural networks would power super resolution, frame rate interpretation, and latency compensation. For instance, they would improve game experiences, AI agents, codecs, matchmaking, player ranking. Big fan of AI getting involved in matchmaking and player ranking because I think it is pretty terrible at this point when I'm playing. If I'm level 20 and I'm playing against a whole team of guys that are level 60, they're gonna tear me apart. AI will also possibly be involved in player services for safety and toxicity, personalization and discovery, and support services. It would also aid on the creator side via AI game testing, procedural content, of course, physics, NLP dialogue, and live ops. So, the whole dialogue thing. I argued with some guys about this as well. We do not agree. You're literally seeing it. It's in writing. Microsoft is possibly going to be using AI for a lot of dialogue in future games. There's this whole thing going on in Hollywood with the writers and actors, but this is I'm more concerned about the writers here and where you see AI taking away jobs, and they will, and it will happen. Trust me when I say AI is going to be huge in the future of gaming. It'll always probably start with the little guys, and it'll work its way up to the big guys. But as we know, Microsoft is has put a lot of money and investment into AI. They're not going to shy away from this stuff. So will it affect jobs? Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll see how that pans out, but hopefully it'll also create new jobs as well. One slide suggested Microsoft was seeking to forge deals with AMD for Navi 5 graphics and Zen 6 CPU cores, but another stated that the company needs to make an ARM 64 decision. In any case, it may have already begun its plans. Another slide titled "The Journey Has Already Started" shows a full roadmap, hardware design, and hybrid game design starting in 2024, with dev kits available in 2027 and shipping in 2028. So, the slide appears to be part of the conversation and not a fixed roadmap by any means. So these things could change. Preceding the slideshows are documents showing a conversation between CEO Satya Nadella, Xbox's Phil Spencer, and others saying that the company is working on 4 types of computers. Cloud everything, a hybrid Xbox, hybrid Windows, and hybrid HoloLens. Nadella notes that we need to bring the company's systems talent together to align on a unified vision. Yes. Adding that we can't go from big idea to big idea. We need to bring the company's systems talents together to align on a unified vision. I agree. This will get too confusing if you do too many things. Other ideas revolve around a mobile controller whereby the controller becomes the hero. That makes it seem like Microsoft is still working out its vision for next gen Xbox at the time of the presentation. So it may have changed course completely since then. So guys, a lot to unpack here. I know I talked really fast, tripped over a lot of my words here. I apologize, but the future of Xbox, in my opinion, leak or no leak, looks really good. I'm a big fan of the hybrid. I hope they go. I don't want an all cloud anything, to be perfectly honest with you. I love the idea of the hybrid. I love the idea of you pay for this amount of hardware at $500 most likely, and the cloud does a lot of the other lifting to ease off of the CPU and GPU and whatever else, the RAM, that is in the hardware of the next Xbox. Let's leverage it, just like Microsoft, Flight Sim is doing right now. I think it's a great idea. I think it's really cool, and I think you're gonna see guys like Sony do the same thing. I think Sony can't ignore, being helped out hardware-wise by the cloud itself. You'll see them probably partner up with either Microsoft or Amazon. I don't know what else they could possibly do. So the future is looking great. And we also got one more little piece of news, and that was that Microsoft was looking to possibly buy Nintendo as a possible acquisition target, and Warner Brothers. This comes from Tom Warren on Twitter. Appreciate you, Tom, as always, giving us the good news. This is obviously this came from 2020. This is old news. We heard about these rumors, now confirmed. We already knew about WB stuff anyways, but they were looking at Nintendo. But if you read this, if you do look at this thing, it's Phil kind of backtracking, say like Nintendo's just probably not going to happen here. But honestly, I know the hot topic is to talk about Nintendo, but I don't want to because it's just not going to happen, and I don't want it to happen. We don't. We want competition to be there. We want the big three to stay there. Um, and I just don't see a world where anyone, regulators would ever look what's happening with you know Activision, Blizzard, King right now. There's just no way this would ever happen. In no world would this happen. But what is more interesting to me is back here they're talking about Warner Brothers, which we knew about years ago too. Them talking about it as well. But Warner Brothers Interactive and Discovery is not doing so great right now. So in this talks of possibly getting a Nintendo, they're also talking about ZeniMax and they're talking about Warner Brothers. Very, very interested in Warner Brothers IP and the Warner Brothers devs they have in the gaming division. We know in the past Warner Brothers were being jerks and saying, no, well, we'll sell you possibly the licensing for those IPs, but not the IPs themselves. Microsoft is not going to do that. But since Warner Brothers Discovery isn't doing the greatest and hurting, I do see a future where some of those studios and IP will get sold off, and Warner Brothers might just keep the IP rights for the television and movie rights for those specific IP, and just sell the gaming rights to those IP. But we'll see. Time will tell. I know this has been a long video, way longer than I usually go, but I just wanted to do a reaction video to all the news that is coming out. So guys, thank you. Sorry for all the weirdness that's going on with my camera here. It is what it is. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Make sure to subscribe to Game Pass Daily on YouTube and follow us on Twitter. We will be talking about this stuff obviously on the Gamers Council this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned for that. We got some great guests coming. It's going to be a stacked panel. We're going to be talking about the future of Xbox, all these leaks, because there's a lot more leaks coming out I didn't even have time to talk to you about today. But we'll get to that very soon, guys. Thanks for watching. See you later.